How to read the periodic table. We know that the periodic table arranges the elements in order of increasing atomic number. Scientists also see the periodic table as a chart with rows and columns. The placement of the elements in rows and columns helps scientists further categorize characteristics and properties of the elements. Each element is classified into a row and column and has its own specific spot on the table. As you read across the rows, you might see that some squares are missing. That's okay. Keep reading from left to right. Each of these different rows is called a period. Each of the 7 rows of the periodic table corresponds to the different energy level of the electrons found in the elements in the row. The number of electron shells is the same for the elements in the period. Electron shells refers to the number of orbits around the nucleus of the atom. As you go from left to right in a row, there is an additional electron in each orbit or electron shell. The elements are also placed in vertical columns called groups or families. A column is an element family that shares common characteristics, and it is the best way to predict the behavior of an element. The properties of these families are determined mostly by the number of electrons in the outer shell of an element's atom, which are called valence electrons. The outermost electrons, or valence electrons, determine how the element will bond with other elements. The 5 basic families of elements are alkali metals, alkaline earth metals, transition metals, halogens, and inert gases, also known as noble gases. Inert means something that doesn't move or react. In ancient times, noblemen were aristocrats, like lords or ladies, that didn't do any of the hard work that the working class did. So it's easy to see why the inert gases were initially called noble gases. The periodic table of elements is a work in progress. In the years since Mendeleev created the first table, more than 60 additional elements have been discovered. Over the years, the periodic table has been redesigned by chemists who have built upon Mendeleev's groundbreaking ideas. The periodic table is so complete that it tells us the characteristics of yet undiscovered elements. Today, the periodic table remains an incredibly useful tool. It allows scientists to accurately predict the properties of the different elements. It also allows us to study the relationships between the elements. If chemists want to create a new formula or compound, the periodic table will tell them which elements will behave the way they need for that new compound or reaction. The information in the periodic table also allows us to predict how 2 chemicals might react with each other.